Good afternoon, everybody. I am showing you today um, a few ways to get around in Reveal Math. I didn't put my face in this because I didn't want to block the screen in any way. I am going to show you in this printout. This is an example of one of the lessons in your workbook. So in your workbook, and this just happens to be the one we did today, you have all of these pages that walk through the lesson, examples, vocabulary, things to consider or talk about. And so if you go through, many of the examples are very stair-stepped. You just fill in one thing at a time, okay? And then there's always an extra check. So if you look here, example 2 walks you through, okay? And then you'll notice in your workbook, it even says go online, you can complete an extra example online. And then example 3, again, it walks you through step by step. Okay, and then there's a check. So then when you go online into your Reveal class, and this is a student's class, this is not the teacher view, although I'll tell you mine doesn't look that different. You can browse your course and go to anywhere in the course, any module, modules are like chapters, and then any lesson within a module. So like roots was module 2, lesson 2. Or whatever we're currently working on, I've also been attaching that as lesson materials in the calendar just to make it easy access for you. But let's go here in case you want to recognize or go to somewhere from anything. So where do you want to go? Browse your course. So I'm going to go to Module 2, Lesson 2, Roots, because it matches the workbook pages we were looking at. So if I click on Roots, there's all the beginning stuff. There's a launch the lesson. It kind of shows how this fits in the real world, the actual math standard, some vocabulary, okay? And then the learn part that was in the workbook, if I click on here, give it just a second, sorry. You can do some flashcards. You go to the next slide, and it has the table, and you can check your answer. And this table is the same table that's in your workbook. It's just now you can be interactive with it and check your answers. Okay, same thing. You could be interactive with this. Okay. Okay, and then I talk about it. And it talks about the different things. It will read it to you if you need it. Okay, so that's a possibility. And we just exit out. Now, find positive square roots, example 1. Remember we saw the thing that said extra example if you go in the book. So if I click here, extra example number 1, it loads just for a second, and it will literally let me try a problem, check my answer, okay? It'll give a little hint if I say I need help, okay? So you have some extra examples, things you can interact with, especially if you're absent and you didn't get to interact in class. Okay, and then you scroll down. Now this lesson had a lot of examples. So today in class, we did example 8. That was one we did in class. If I click on example 8 that we used in the workbook, it looks just like it, just a little prettier. They show the planter. Okay, And you can literally move through the steps to get a good example of how to solve this problem and then check it. So it's just like your workbook, but interactive, especially if you weren't in class to even know, well, am I even doing it right? Okay. And then if you scroll down even more, there's buttons, personal tutors and Spanish personal tutors. For most of my students, personal tutors is what you need. If your family speaks Spanish, I'm so glad it's here. But my Spanish and math don't link up really well. My Spanish is poquito. So now, personal tutors. So writing a fraction is a decimal, writing repeating decimal. So then we go to this lesson here, use square roots to solve equations. Okay, and we can even go to the next page, more. So let's say I was absent the day we did estimate square roots. I click on that. I click on the video.
Hi, this is Mr. Rutherford. In this problem, we will look at a real-world example. Driving. When a car brakes suddenly, it leaves skid marks.
And you'll see
Calculate how fast the car was traveling.
that there's an actual example that you can interact with. You can watch, and then you can go back, try examples. So that is in there. Okay. The other thing I wanted to show you, in addition to that you can click on all those things for any lesson, calendar. Okay. On the calendar, you can show it as a day, a week, a month. So here it is as a week. This shows the lessons that I made available. Those all show a little book. That's how you know it's a lesson, because it's a book. Okay. And then this little box with a check mark, that's an assignment that's going to need to be done. It's not even available yet. That's why the student hasn't done it. Okay. And then up here, this is a new one we're going to start tomorrow. This is a review, and we'll be able to start that. But if I go back to day view, I can still click through, and there's tomorrow. Notice it says the due date. Status is scheduled. That means you can't even start it yet. It's coming. Okay. But what if I was absent? I don't need my current ones. So I can go to assignments. Okay. And in assignments, there's the scheduled items. And I can look at past work. There's all the submitted things. Okay. And it says when I did it and all of those things. Okay. So your to do are things you need to do. Your past work, things that are done. Okay. Do not worry about the grades. It basically lists all of your assignments like a grade book, but our grade book is Schoology. So it's a place to look at all your scores, but it doesn't transfer into Schoology or anything like that. Okay. So again, if you go into the class, you can browse your course. Okay. And then guys, even here, like here's an ebook. So volume 1. So if I click here, this is basically our workbook that we use in class. And it's loading, so give it a second, poor thing. And I haven't figured out a faster way to get there. I'm sure there is, I just haven't learned it yet. But I'm gonna go to the page we use today. So I'm just clicking really quick. Or you can use table of contents. So lesson 1-1, lesson 1-3. So I can scroll way down. So lesson 2-2. And then this is the same stuff that's in your notebook, But now you can type into it, interact with it. We'll never turn it in this way, but it is another way to access it. In addition, obviously on Schoology, I also, or not on Schoology, but also on our weekly agenda, I link a PDF. So you have that PDF no matter where you go. Um, so here's our weekly agenda for this week. And yeah, you just click here and you have a PDF of any workbook pages we're working with. So hopefully that helps you guys of understanding where to find some of the things. If you find out any other cool things, please share them with your friends, share them with me, and we will, continue this journey together. Thanks, everybody.